Hey everyone, Mr. Macintosh here, and in today's video I'm going to talk about how to uninstall iOS beta software from your iPhone or iPad. After those last two videos that I put out talking about that upgrade dialog problem that we just had, man, I heard you guys loud and clear that some of you really want to get off the beta train and get back to the final release or the production software of iOS because you don't want to deal with the problems anymore. I'm going to go over multiple ways to do that in this video, from the easiest to more advanced, depending on if you have backups or if you don't have backups, or if you just want to be able to uninstall the beta profile and then go with the production version as of that, retaining all your data. So let's jump in really quick and get started. First way we're going to go over is the easiest way, and also the one that I totally recommend that you do if you want to uninstall the latest version of iOS beta software on your iPhone or iPad. So let's use this example that we talked about in the last two videos of if you were getting that dialog constantly and you were sick and tired of it and you don't want to have to deal with any of those problems anymore. So you want to uninstall the beta software from your iPhone or iPad. The easiest way to do this is to just let the production version or the final version of iOS that Apple releases install over the top of your beta. So how do we do that? Let's take a quick look at and jump right into how to do that. I've got Apple support document showing here on the screen how to do this, and I'm going to link that in the description if you wanted some more instructions on how to do that, but I'm going to walk you right through it in this live demo. We're going to use the same phone here that I was working on when we were talking about the previous videos. And let's go into the settings, and we're going to go into general, and we're going to go into about, and we're going to check the software version here. You see how it says software version 14.2? To get the actual build version that you're on, you want to click on that line there, and you can see you're on 18B91. Now there was a lot of confusion about this in the comment section of the last couple articles that they're saying, well, how do I know what version I'm in? I'm on version 14.0 and I can't update. I'm on 14.1 and I can't update. So I've got a page here that lists all of the build versions of iOS 14 so you guys can get an understanding of where we're at here. You can see that, and let me blow this up a little bit so you can see this here a little bit better here. There we go. For example, the first beta was 18A5301V. If you're on that, you were on the very first beta and you never updated again. But as you can see, there was 8 different betas and 2 in a Gold Master for 14.0 and a Gold Master for 14.1. The Gold Master is usually the shipping version of the operating system, or pretty close to it. This is when they started testing 14.2 right here. So this is what a lot of you guys were on, 14.2. And then you can kind of see what versions that they went all the way into that release candidate that we went over yesterday, 18B91. So as you can see here, I'll zoom out, we are on 18B91. Okay, now that we know which version of the beta software is available, wonder if you have a production version. And because that was another thing that a couple of you were confused about in the last videos, is that you were saying I was on 14.0, 14.1. Well, keep in mind, these are only the beta versions. So I've got production versions, or the final versions of iOS 14. Now, if you're on any of these build numbers, you are already on the production or final version build track, and the latest version is 14.1. So if you go in here and you have 14.1 18A8395, then that means that you're already up to date. There's nothing newer than this. Now keep in mind, it's November 1st of 2020, and Apple is most likely going to release 14.2 next week. So that's why I wanted to talk about this, because this is the easiest way. All you're going to do is uninstall the profile, restart your iPhone, and wait until this week. And 14.2 will be out. You'll get that in your software update. So let's jump right into it. And we're going to go back to general, or the settings, and we're going to scroll down, and you can see the profile right here. If you don't see the profile, then you already have it installed. So then you don't have to worry about it. We can just jump right to the next step. But let's say you do have it installed. So let's click on this, and then click on the beta profile, and then remove profile, and then we'll restart here. Remove, it'll prompt us to restart, and we will restart. We'll let that go. So while the phone's restarting, we can talk about what the next step is. So now, once the phone comes back up, the profile will be gone. There's no beta profile in here. This phone knows nothing about the beta, and it's technically going to be now looking for the latest public release or the final release of iOS 14.2 when it's released. It's going to show up in software update and you can install it. So let's go into settings. We'll go into general and then we're going to go to software update, and it's going to show that there's nothing available. This is up to date, but it's up to date up to the beta release. So as soon as, like, let's just say it comes out this Tuesday, 2 days away from now, it'll show up here. And let's go to this next screen here. This is the production version of iOS 14. So there's been 3 different versions: 14.0, 14.01, and 14.1. 14.1 is the latest production version that's out available for everybody right now. So what'll happen is 14.2 will be here, and then it'll be a proper build number. It's going to show up in here in software update, and all you have to do is install. Done. You don't have to worry about any more betas. All of your data kept on your phone, and you're on the latest version. You don't have to worry about betas anymore. That's the easiest, simple way to do that. But let's say you're done right now and you don't want to even have to wait because you don't know when they're going to release it, and you just need to get off of it right now. Let's say you're having problems, serious problems, apps crashing, the phone's slow, or some other reason. We're going to have to dive a little bit deeper now. Let's say that you're having issues with the beta. Let's say it's shutting down your phone, it's crashing, your phone is slow, and you need to get off that thing like right now. I've got 3 ways to do that, but it depends on what you have as a backup, or if you just want to restore fresh and then put everything back on manually. The restores are going to be the second easiest way, because all you're going to do is put the old version back on by restoring one of your previous backups, as long as it's before the beta and it's a final release. Super simple. Then you have the old version of the OS on there, and you have all your backup, all your apps, all your messages, everything that you need for your backup. The problem comes in is if you accidentally backed up while you were on the beta. That's where things get messy, and I'll show you a way around that too. And then the third option is going to be a full restore, erase, and restore to start back fresh. So let's jump in right away with the second easiest way to do that, and that's just restoring your backup. So I've got Apple's article up here kind of telling you how to uninstall the beta software, and it's just telling you that to go in here, remove the profile, and restore your backup. But what it's saying here is that, note, if a backup is created using the beta software, might not be compatible with older versions of iOS. If you don't have an older backup that was made using the current version of iOS, you might not be able to restore your device with the most recent backup. So that's kind of what I'm going to talk about next. Or after that, that'll be the number 3 option if you have the newer backup. Let's jump in right into Finder here, and I'll show you what we need to do. Okay, so now we've got the screen open in Finder, or if you have iTunes, it'll look really close to being the same thing. You can see here that we're running on the iPhone 6s Plus here. I'm running 14.2, so I'm in beta, and we're stuck, right? We got to get back. Now we need to see what kind of backups we have. So the way to do that is to go click on here and click Manage Backups. And then in here, normally you're only going to have 1 backup in here. I've got 2 because I've used a really neat trick that you can do to archive multiple backups. And the way to do that is just to click on here and archive. Then the next question is how are you going to know which backup is which if you have multiple backups? Well, what we can do here is, and I'll move over here because I wanted to show you this. All you need to do is hover over one of the backups and it'll show you a new pop-up that looks like this particular backup here, and I'll zoom in on this so you guys can see this a little bit better here. It tells you exactly what it is. An iPhone 6 Plus or iPhone 8.2, 2, and it's running 14.2, 18B91. So guess what? That's not the one we want. We need one that's 14.1. So hopefully that's what yours says. If it does, we're super simple. So let's look at the other one and what it'll say. The other backup says this, 14.1. That's the one we want. So all we need to do is look at that time. 11:43, because the next window that we're going to go to is going to be a little bit more confusing. When we click Restore Backup here, it's going to say, well, which one do you want? It doesn't tell you the which operating system version it was on there, but that's why we just checked that. We know the 1158 is 14.1, so all we need to do is hit restore. That's it. You're back on track with 14.1 and you're off the beta track. You don't even have to worry about anything anymore. So that was number 2. Number 3 is if you only have this backup, the 14.2, okay? That's where the problem comes in, because what's going to happen is we need to get back to 14.1, and we can't do that with this back down to factory default. There's a couple ways we can do this. We can just go click here and hit restore like this, and it's going to say, do you want to back up the settings for this phone before restoring? And then we don't want to, because we already have the backup, so we can just click don't backup. And then it says, are you sure you want to restore the iPhone back to its factory settings of all of your media will be erased? And that's fine, because we already did that. So all we need to do is to click restore. That's it. Now, look what happens though. There's a problem. Now, if this happens, all we need to do is boot the phone into DFU mode and we'll try again. So we're going to do that right now. We're going to click OK. We're going to pause here and I'm going to boot the phone into DFU mode, and I'll show you how to do that. And I'll put this link in the description. This shows you how to boot each phone from the 6 to the 7 to the 8 to the iPad with Face ID and iPhone with Face ID, how to boot it into DFU mode. So I'll put that link in the description. In my phone's case, all you need to do is hold down power and home button and you're right into DFU mode. So I'll be right back. Okay, now that the iPhone or the iPad is in DFU mode, this is what you're going to see on the screen. And we can connect it through our, if it's already connected, we're good to go, or connect it now through a lightning cable through USB. So let's go open up our Finder back here. And this is the message that we're going to be greeted with. It's giving us an option, 2 options here. It's going to say update or restore. The update button, what it'll do is it will restore the previous version, which is the public release of 14.1 or whatever it is the latest signed release of iOS. It's going to reinstall that over and leave your data there, because you can see it'll say the problem may be fixed by updating your iPhone, which preserves your content and settings. However, if the updating doesn't work, it may be necessary to restore, which erases all settings and content. And even if that does happen and the update part doesn't work, that's okay, because we've got the restore, we've got our backup all ready to go when we're done. Let's click this update and see if it actually works. If it works, it's going to download iOS 14.1 from Apple servers. And it's going to reinstall over the phone, but it's going to retain our data. That's the scenario that we want. So let's try it out here. We're going to click it. We're going to give it a second here. And it says, if your phone can't be updated, you'll need to restore it from its factory settings. Your Mac will update your iPhone to iOS 14.1 and verify the update with Apple. Let's try it. Here we go. And look at this. It's going. So I skipped a step here. Let me show you what that means. So if we go to I'm going to show you the download location of the ISPW, because that's going to take a while. So you can actually, if you have the ISPW file, and I'll show you, it's in iTunes folder. In iTunes software updates, I put this in here already. So that's why. And let me open up another Finder window so you can see what this thing's doing. I'll show you the restoration process here. It's extracting software right off the bat. And that's because I put this in there. I already have it to save some time, or it would have been sitting here downloading 4.5 gigabytes. So that's a little shortcut that you can do just to get this process moving if you already have the ISPW. And again, that goes back to that website that I was telling you about, that really nice, thephonewiki.com. Make sure that when you're going to these, you download the correct one, or you'll get an error. Like if I try to download I can actually and these are direct from Apple software update servers. These are not like some weird site where you don't know what you're going to get. This is directly from Apple, and you can actually see by looking at the link. So you can right click on it and copy the link, open up a new tab, and you can actually see the link here. We'll go all the way to the beginning, softwareupdates.cdn.apple.com. So you can tell that these are the ones that are the real Apple ISPWs. So back to this. So I know I have an iPhone 6 Plus. So here's the one I want to download. So if I just click on that, I'm going to download, and I can keep that as long as Apple has that signed. So that's what I did to save some time while we're waiting here. And as you can see, it's still extracting the software. So we're going to take a little break here, and I'll come right back as soon as the phone's restoring, and I'll pick up right back up where we left. Okay, we're back. So this is the message that we get when the restore is done. Your iPhone has been updated and is restarting. Please leave your iPhone connected. It will appear in the sidebar after restart. So let's get our iPhone here. We've got the passcode in here. We'll enter the passcode that you can't see, and it's got the Apple logo. Now we're going to click OK on this. And now it's okay. Oh, we're back here. Let's move it over here to the side so you can see what that looks like. And we're also back here on the Finder too. So let's wait for that to load. So this is what I can see on the phone here. So it's now finishing its update. So we'll wait. This is going to take a little bit longer. I'll be back after the jump. And as you can see here, we're at the Touch ID screen asking us to enter in our passcode. We'll enter our passcode here. And look at this. All of our stuff is back on the phone. And look at this. Here's our data. And we are on iOS 14.1. Now, if that works for you, you are in great shape. You don't have to worry anymore. Let's go back into settings. We'll go back into general. And as you can see, we're on 14.1 production version. So that's number 3, right? So number 1 was just wait for production. Number 2 was just to restore your backup. Number 3 is to use the update function in the DFU restore mode to do an update to retain your data but reinstall 14.1, and that worked. But again, there's reports that sometimes that doesn't work and you'll get an error. If that happens, we're going to have to go to number 4 now. Number 4 is that we're still going to do that restore, boot back into DFU mode, but we're going to click restore instead of update. So then what that'll do is that'll still do the 14.1 over there, and then when we come back up, we'll be in iTunes, and then we're going to have to do a modification to that 14.2 beta backup that we made to be able to have it read that properly to be able to do the restore. We need to get this phone back into DFU mode, and then we will be able to do the restore that way. Okay, it's booting back up. I see an Apple logo now, and we're in DFU mode. So let's go back into iPhone here. iPhone is in DFU mode. We need to do a restore the backup. Previously, we did the update, but now we're going to do the restore because the update, we're using the example that the update didn't work last time. So now we're going to do the restore. We're going to install 14.1 back onto the iPhone, and then we're going to use the 14.2 back up to restore. So let's click restore here. Give it a second, and it gives us this warning to make sure that it's going to erase all the settings and restore the latest iPhone OS that is available for users, and that's 14.1. So we're going to restore and update. And here we go. It's in this process, normally it would say downloading software, but since we already have the ISPW there, it's going to show immediately to extracting software. So we'll be back after the 14.1. Now we got the production version. As you can see, 14.1 is on here. So now we're going to restore from our 14.2 backup, but I want to show you what the error message that you're going to get when you try to do that. Now keep in mind, there was a screen that was skipped, and it was a nice picture of the iPhone here, and it says which backup did you want to do. You can restore from there, but you're going to get the same error. So I want to show you what error you're going to get. So we'll hit restore backup, and the 14.2 I know is the one from 1158. So we're going to hit restore. We'll give it a second here. And this is the error that we're going to get. Could not restore the iPhone, Mr. Macintosh's iPhone 6s Plus, because the backup was not compatible with the iPhone that is being restored. That means that we're on 14.1 and it's trying to restore a newer one, and it's saying that we can't do that, and we warned about that. So what are we going to do? Well, I got a workaround for you. So we're going to click OK. We're going to go into Manage Backups. We're going to right click on this, and we're going to show in the Finder. So this is where it stores it. We stores it in users, your user folder, library, application support, mobile sync, backup, and this long number. So we got to go into this folder here, and then we're going to scroll all the way down to the bottom, and we're looking for the info plist. We're basically going to fake out iTunes to say, hey, this is a 14.1 backup. So all we need to do is edit this. But the problem is that you need a text editor to manipulate plist files properly so you don't get them malformed. So what I recommend is downloading BBEdit. It's a free text editor, and you can see the little icon here is BBEdit. So what you can do is just right click on here, open with BBEdit. And that's what you'll be able to do once you download that. So let's open that up. As you can see here, this is a huge file. You can scroll for a long time before you get to where you want to get to. But what we need to do is we need to search for iPhone, and that'll get us exactly where we want to do. So all we need to do is Command F to find in the document iPhone. And I put 8 here, but you can actually kind of search for, it depends on your model. So we'll just search for iPhone 8. And I've already got a screen up here to show you what this is going to look like, and I'll zoom in on it so we can take a closer look. So this is what you're going to see is the iPhone type and the product version. So when we loaded this up, it told iTunes that we are on 14.2. So all we're going to do is click on here and take out the 2 and put on whatever version our backup was. So it was a 14.01. We're going to put 14.01 in there. Or if it's 14.1, we're just going to take the 2 out and put the 14.1. And then right click, go up to the menu bar and hit Save As. Done. That's it. Okay, now that we've modified that file, let's close it out after we've saved it. So we can see we've got a new modification date, and we can go back to here. We got to close out this window and reopen it again to make it recognize what backup it is. So when we click on here, now this is going to read 14.1, and that means we're ready to go, and this backup's going to work now. So now let's click OK. We're going to hit Restore Backup, and we're going to make sure we select that one. That's the one we changed from 14.2 to 14.1. We'll hit Restore, and off we go. Look at that. There's our progress bar. So we'll just finish, and I'll be back after the break, and we'll show you what it looks like on the iPhone. We're back. As you can see, we were on iOS 14.1. We've got our data back. Let's scroll over. Look, our app's already ready to download again. All you need to do is sign in to iTunes. We'll go into the settings. We'll make sure that we're on there, and we'll click About, and look at that, 14.1 production version. So we're good to go. That worked. What a cool little workaround that is to be able to get your newer backup, your beta backup, installed shipping version of iOS 14.1 or the production version. So that was number 4. Now number 5 is pretty cut and dry because all that is just doing kind of what we did without the restore. Number 5 is just restoring your iPhone back to 14.1 the same way we did. We put it into DFU mode and we click restore, and that just goes fresh, and you can set it up as brand new. But again, why do that if you have your backup, and we can do this workaround to get all your data back on there? But you might be stuck because if you didn't do any backups or you didn't set that up, that might kind of be your only option if you want to get back to 14.1 or any of the production versions under that. So there you go, guys. That was a deep dive into restoring your iPhone from a beta version back to a production version. I hope you found this video valuable to you, and if you did, click that subscribe button, because guess what? I'm going to keep coming out with these videos to help you out and get everything fixed up that either on your Mac or on your iOS device or AirPods or anything that you got. I'll be here to help you. We'll catch you in the next video.